Well, Josh, you're fresh off the back of a strength and conditioning session. I know, obviously, it's your second of the day, so
yeah.
I'm not going to sort of make this too long and too painful for you because I know you're tired. But obviously, last time out, the fight against Jack Dowling, a fantastic fight at the Epsom Downs racecourse in Surrey. The judges couldn't split you, so November the 19th, K2, we're back to do it all over again. And how are you feeling ahead of fight night?
Yeah, I feel really good. I think personally this time around it's a lot more about boxing and training and actually coming into there with a bit more of a game plan in terms of my style instead of losing weight, which typically I've done. So yeah, S&C, like you say, coach session today. First time I've done any sort of strength and conditioning in over 5 years. So it's tough, but hopefully it's certainly going to help out come fight night.
Was that sort of like a conscious decision that you felt that something in the fight against Dowling first time around was lacking and you thought, well, I need to kind of switch it up a bit, I need to add different elements, different layers to my training this time around to make a difference?
Yeah, 100%. I found I've always gone into any of the camps, so this time it was a year off, a broken hand and 14.2 kilos over. I had to lose weight, there was no other choice. I didn't get many as much sparring, let's say, as we want, as much technical pad work as I probably needed to, and like I say, certainly no strength because I couldn't put the muscle on and not make weight. Whereas this time round, having watched the fight back, I think John said to me, put it lovely, he said, you showed you had fitness, you had heart, a great chin and strength, but absolutely no boxing ability in that fight. And it was tongue in cheek because having watched it back, yeah, we certainly know we can work on a lot, and coming forward with a lot more sort of strength and conditioning as well, yeah, we're confident that we'll get it win.
Yeah, well, you touched on that. Obviously, your coach John Houston up at South Morton at Boxing Club, who I've known for a long time, and obviously has produced some fantastic fighters over the years. But I think where we start is let's look back at the first fight. So I want to kind of get your opinion on how you thought the fight went on the night versus how you thought the fight went watching it back and sort of having that sort of comfort zone of sitting there, being able to analyse the fight, maybe listening to the commentary. So on the night, for me, it was a fight of two halves, but how did you see the fight play out?
No, exactly that. We knew we were going to come into it having a slower start, letting Jack warm up, hopefully tire out, which I think he even said he did from his interview. We knew that the first 2 rounds were going to be slow starters for me because we knew that we had the tank, the fitness there. Jack won the first round convincingly, second round probably won it as well. Third round I felt that I really sort of came into it, was landing flurries of punches. Yes, some were being taken, as the commentator said, on the gloves, but some were getting through as well, and I felt like I probably did enough in the third, the fourth and the fifth on the night to win the fight. But there's two sides of the story, and there's a third which is the honest one, and the judges saw it as a majority draw. I mean, having watched it back, it was exactly that. Slow start from me, by certainly no sort of boxing ability as such. It was more sort of fitness, strength, durability, walking forward and tiring Jack out. The power was fine, took that fine. The problem was the chin was too high, and every time there was a nice punch connected, the head snapped back. And look, I think you can look at that either way you want. And Jack did exactly what Jack needed to do. The commentators, I think, don't love me that much, but hopefully I can turn them around this time.
I mean, I watched the fight from ringside, and I always find there's a huge difference between watching it with the various layers within a fight in terms of, you've got the noise of the crowd, you've got the sort of the fact that, you're seeing it from only one angle, and sometimes certain passages of action in a fight can look like one fighter is dominating because you are only seeing the kind of the back of that fighter, the punches being thrown. You can't make a sort of a connection between, are those punches landing? And sometimes a fight can look very one-sided for one fighter, when in reality, looking at it from another angle, another judge may see it completely differently and sort of say, well, the punches weren't landing, they weren't scoring. And it's very, very subjective, I think, with boxing, which is why you get some sort of very controversial decisions sometimes where people see a fight one way. But overall, with your performance, taking everything into account, I mean, when that final bell sounded, I mean, did you feel that, like you said, 3-2, you probably scored it yourself. But do you
Yeah.
think, looking back at it now, there were definitely elements where a draw was a fairly sort of fair result?
Look, without a draw, wouldn't be here now. It's pointless looking back in the past and resenting not getting the result. I'm moving forward. I'm fit. I'm going into camp straight away after a 2-week rest, which was lovely, but I was eager to get back into it. Training 13, 14 times a week, double sessions a day, S&C. I'm on weight. I'm doing skill sessions, which I've never done. Sparring's going perfect. It's pointless me sitting there talking about not getting the result, thinking, was it a fair result? All we're doing is looking forward, and we're going to be ready to get the win this time out.
Do you... it's obviously a tough one because, you know, there's going to be a different dynamic to this fight.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, before, coming into that fight against Jack Dowling, I know that he'd faced your stablemate Joe Howard, so you had knowledge of him, you knew, you know, a little bit about him, but there's a massive difference between spending 5 rounds going to war with somebody the first time around and coming out with honours even as a draw, and then the mindset coming into it now, because you now know what you're facing. I mean, obviously, Jack isn't going to be a carbon copy of how he was in that first fight, and on the flip side, neither are you. But do you come into this fight with added confidence to think, well, do you know what? Last time out, it wasn't a great camp. It was focused around losing weight. It wasn't ideal preparations for a fight of that size. But this time around, I'm starting so far in advance of where I was. This time, like you've mentioned, I'm concentrating on lots of different elements to give me an edge.
Exactly that. It's as simple as before camp it was fat camp. It was lose weight, it was make weight. I've always got enough durability, strength, heart, chin to take hits, walk forward and box on, which is what I did and what I showed, hopefully displayed to fans and everyone that watched. This time around it will be a completely different fight. It will be a lot more technical. I mean, oh God, I won't be stepping back, walking around and boxing on the back foot. That's not what I do. I will walk forward, and Jack will do exactly the same. He's got a strong jab. That's what he works with. But from round 1, there won't be a let him tire out, because I'm sure he's going to come fit. But when I'm pressing on him and coming out from round 1, well, I'm a lot fitter and I'm a lot stronger and more technically sort of ready. You'll still tire. You still won't be ready for me.
You mentioned there, obviously, you showed heart, you showed fitness, and you showed a decent chin. You know, power-wise, what was Jack's power like? Because a lot of people will sort of look at that from ringside and see, you know, your head was snapping back, but you know, they weren't punches where, you know, you looked in any great trouble any one given time. You know, it wasn't like they looked like stinging concussive punches. But how would you rate his power? Yeah,
good power, but when your chin's high and you get hit with a clean shot and you've got a loose guard, your head pops back. That's boxing. And I understand, like, even when you touched on earlier on, boxing is very subjective. The single view of one judge can be very different to the others. Yeah, you're completely right. And that's probably what edged him on those first 2 rounds, for sure. Maybe somewhere along the line, obviously, there was a 10-10 because of that perspective. This time around, look, keep chin down, tuck it, tie a guard, and those shots will be a bit different. So, I think the power's there. It's good, don't get me wrong. Everyone carries some power, and if you land on the chin, but no, it wasn't anything I needed to worry about.
How confident are you that, I always like to ask this question, you know, how confident are you that the best version of Josh O'Brien in that ring on November the 19th beats the best version of Jack Dowling?
No doubt. I'll win. Coming in fit, yeah. It's a simple 2-word statement. I win.
I like it. I like the confidence. I mean, that's for me what makes this fight so intriguing, because like any fight, you know, when you know both fighters and you know the history and what they bring, whether they fought before or not, you make a decision. You know, I always say with boxing, it's head and heart. You know, your head says, realistically, if you analyse the fight, if you look at the attributes of each fighter, you can pretty much sort of, you know, make an argument for one fighter either way. But for this one, and for me as a fan, you're looking at it going, well, what version of Jack Dowling is going to turn up? He thinks a fitter version of Jack Dowling wins this fight, and I was winning it the first time, and I think I should have had the result. And for you, you're saying, well, you know what, I win this fight, because this time it's not all about losing weight, it's about focusing on technical ability, it's focusing on my boxing, which is what I was lacking. So as a fan, it sets it up beautifully, and you really can think, oh God, you know, it's going to be a tough one. It's a pick and fight again, which is what Quest is all about. But I know that we've still got a number of weeks to go. I know that you're putting in the work and you're training hard, as I say. We've seen that tonight. But final thoughts as we sort of wrap this up. How does the sort of the final sort of weeks of preparation go for you? And come fight night, is there any doubt in your mind? Like I say, I know you've already covered it. Any doubt in your mind that you don't walk away as champion?
No doubt at all. No doubt at all. Look, I want Jack to be training really well, training really hard. He's obviously been back-to-back in fights, back-to-back in camps, and not had the rest, which is great. Look, I want the best version of him to turn up on the night, and we can give everyone a good display of boxing. But I win, unfortunately, in his situation. With the next few weeks of camp, it's continued. It's the sprints, it's the fitness, it's the train, it's the fun, the learning, the skill, the strength, which is a bit sore, but we march on, and we package it into this beautiful gift that Jack receives on fight night.
Well, they say it's better to give than receive, so I'm not sure Jack will share that mantra, but as I say, it's a fascinating fight, and this fight, it happens on Saturday, November the 19th. It's at the K2 Arena in Crawley in West Sussex, and the Quest National Light Cruiserweight title is on the line. So, Josh, it's been a pleasure. Obviously, I'm going to let you get back. I know you've got to get home now and do it all over, rerun it all again tomorrow. So, thanks very much for your time. And as I say, we look forward to seeing you versus Jack Dowling again, ringside, K2 Crawley. It's going to be a cracker.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.